Hello everyone. So today we are going to see about the Swinburne's test on DC shunt motor. So what is actually a Swinburne's test? What we are going to find in the Swinburne's test? So here we are using the DC shunt motor. We are using the Swinburne's test to determine the efficiency of the DC shunt motor. So here we may use this machine as a shunt motor or shunt generator. We can use this machine as a shunt motor or shunt generator to calculate the efficiency of the shunt machine. So here if we see the nameplate details of this shunt motor, so here the nameplate details of DC shunt motor, in that we are having voltage is 220 volts DC supply and current is 12 amps, the current rating is 12 amps. Speed of the machine is 1500 rpm, the power rating is 3 HP, it is an external type is shunt, and field current is 0.6 amps and field voltage is 220 volts. Because it is a shunt machine, so the field winding is also connected in parallel, so that the voltage is same as the armature voltage, that is 220 volts. Okay, so these are the nameplate details. We will see operators what is requires. So if you see the operators requires, there is a DC ammeter 0 to 2 amps and there is another ammeter requires to find the field current. So this ammeter requires to find the no load current, and this ammeter is requires for the same rating we can choose, but here we are choosing 2.5 amps, here it is 2 amps. So this ammeter is used to measure the field current. And here it is, there is a voltage measurement. We need to measure the voltage, whatever the supply voltage is there, that is 220 volts. To measure that supply voltage, we are using a DC voltmeter. And there is a rheostat is required to keep the speed of the machine to rated value. So for that purpose, we are using. So here rheostat rating is 750 ohms by 1.2 amps. So this rheostat we are using to set the rated speed of the machine. Right. So here we are having 3-point starter. So 3-point starter is having 3 terminals L, A, F, line, field, armature. Right. So these are the 3 terminals. So this is a 3-point starter and there is a DPST switch, as we know all these things, right. AA is nothing but the armature terminals, and FA here F is nothing but there is a FRZ, that Z is nothing but the field terminals, right. Z is nothing but the field terminals of the shunt machine, right. So now we will see the circuit diagram of the Swinburne's test. So here we are having positive and negative terminal, that is main supply. So from the positive terminal we are having 2 wires, that is one is going to the ammeter, another wire is going to the voltmeter. So ammeter positive and voltmeter positive. So we will take 2 wires and we will connect one wire to ammeter positive, another wire to voltmeter positive, right. Take the 2 wires and connect. I am taking 2 red wires and connecting one wire to the ammeter positive and another wire to the voltmeter positive. So here if you see the ratings of this ammeter and voltmeter, so the ammeter rating is 0 to 2 amps, because we are running this on the no load, so we are taking 0 to 2 amps, and here voltmeter is 0 to 300 volts. So I am connecting to the 2 amps terminal for the ammeter. From positive terminal I am taking 2 wires one is to the positive terminal of the ammeter, another wire is to the positive terminal of the voltmeter, right. The next is, so from the voltmeter or from the ammeter other end, that is negative terminal or reading point, to the line L. So I am taking here ammeter other end that is I am taking 2 amps. So from these 2 amps I am connecting to the L. Okay. Next, so here from A of the 3-point starter to the A of the DC motor, that is armature terminal of the DC motor. And next A. Okay. So A of the 3-point starter to the armature terminal of the motor, and the next we are having field terminal. So from the field terminal, fixed terminal of the rheostat we are going to connect. So we will take one more wire and we will collect. Field terminal F. So from this F and next fixed point of the rheostat. Okay. And next from the variable so here from the variable terminal to the Z, that is field terminal of the motor, we are going to connect that. So here variable terminal of the rheostat to the Z of the motor, right. And then you are having the ammeter connection from the ZZ. So ammeter positive from the ZZ, ammeter positive is there is a connection. So I will connect that to measure the field current. So that is to measure the field current. So I am taking the ammeter. So that is connected to the ammeter positive terminal, that is common point. And then end of the ammeter, so other end of the ammeter, that is negative terminal of the ammeter to the AA, and from that AA to the negative terminal of the voltmeter, and then last it is connected to the negative of the main supply. So I am connecting that negative terminal of the ammeter So I am taking just 2.5 amps because we are going to measure the low value of field current. So I am connecting to the 2.5 only, and then I am connecting to the voltmeter other end. Oh, one more wire I am connecting to the 300 volts, and then from AA. So as I shown, these three are the terminals which are connected to the negative terminal of the main supply, that is 220 volt supply, right. So these three wires are combinedly connected to the negative terminal So now we have to switch on the machine. So with the help of DPST, double pole single throw, so we are switching on that machine, right? Then we have to slowly move the starter stud from minimum position to the maximum position slowly, so that the motor is going to be starts rotating. Okay. So now I am switching on with the help of 3-point starter. So just moving this. Right. Now the motor is switched on. Then we'll see the readings. So before taking the no load values of these Swinburne's test, we have to adjust the rated speed of the machine. So with the help of rheostat, we are going to adjust the rated speed of the machine. First we'll check the speed, how much speed it is rotating. So with the help of that, we have to set the rated speed. Rated speed of the machine is 1500 RPM. So I am taking first reading, how much speed it is rotating means 1452. So it is rotating with 1452. So I need to vary the rheostat so that we can adjust the speed of the machine. So I am moving the rheostat from minimum to some value up towards the maximum. I am moving, and now I am taking the reading of the motor. How much speed it is rotating means 1516. Okay, 1518 I think. So I'll adjust again, slowly decreasing some value. So again I will check. So it is 1512. Some more I need to decrease, 1500 I think. Okay, almost 1502 means 1500 almost, right? So we have set the rated speed of the machine. Now at that rated speed of the machine, we have to note down the no load values. We are not applying any load on the machine, so we have to take the no load values of that DC machine, right? So now we'll take the readings. So here it is ammeter, so which is connected at the starting, that is I naught. Okay, no load current. So if you see the tabular column, so in this tabular column if you see no load voltage, no load current and field current, and there is a no load armature current, that is IA naught. So this IA naught we will calculate later, but as of now we will note down the no load voltage, no load current and field current, that is IF. So here this is what I naught. I naught is no load current. So if you see the no load current of this 0.9 amps it is. Okay, I have connected to 2 amps. So upper reading you have to choose, that is 0.9 amps. Right, 9 amps is a no load current and this 220 volts. So the no load voltage is 220 volts. Right, and then field current which is flowing through the field winding is, so we have connected to 2.5 amps. So we need to choose the lower reading, that is 0.55 amps. It is very less value when compared with the normal value of no load current, right? So now we have taken the reading and then we have to calculate the IA naught value. So after that the experiment is completed, we have to reduce the rheostat to minimum position. Just move this to the minimum value, and then again you have to switch off the main DC supply. So with the help of TPST switch I am moving off, right? So here we are going to see the calculation of this DC shunt motor performance. So that is, we are conducted Swinburne's test on DC shunt motor. So why we are conducting Swinburne's test on DC shunt motor means to predetermine the efficiency of the DC shunt motor. So this DC shunt motor or DC shunt machine can be run as a motor or as a generator by conducting the Swinburne's test on this machine. Either we are running that machine as a generator or motor, we are going to calculate the efficiency of the machine. So here we are going to have the tabular column. So in this tabular column we are having the no load voltage, that is 220 volts, no load current is I0, that is 0.9 amps, and here field current, that is 0.55, and no load armature current IA0. So that IA0 we are going to get the subtraction of no load current minus field current, I0 minus IF. So here if you calculate those no load armature current, that is 0.9, here I0 is 0.9 minus 0.55. So that is 0.9 minus 0.55, you are going to get 0.35 amps. 0.35 amps, that is no load armature current. So first we are going to run this machine as a generator and we are going to calculate the efficiency of the machine, and then we are going to run this machine as a motor, and then we are going to calculate the efficiency of that motor. So we are going to see first generator. Okay. So first here we are considering the machine as a generator and we are calculating the efficiency. So to calculate the efficiency of the machine, we must know first what is the load current. So this load current, we are not applying any load on the machine, just we are assuming the load on the machine as a in steps of 2, that is 2 amps, 4 amps, 6 amps, 8 amps, right. So like this we are going to assume the load currents, because we are performing the test on the machine as a no load. So we are not applying any load on the machine. So just we are assuming to calculate the efficiency, to predetermine the efficiency of the machine, we are going to assume the load current, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we are going to calculate the power output. So for the generator we are going to calculate the power output, how much power it is going to be generated. So let us consider it is generating a voltage of 220 volts. The power output equation is P0 is nothing but V into IL. So V is 220 volts, 220. So I am writing formula first, V into IL. So that is 220 volts into 2. You are going to get 440 volts, 440 watts. Okay. So the power output is 440 watts, and you need to calculate the armature copper loss. So for armature copper loss formula, IA square RA. So but IA is nothing but IL plus IF whole square into RA. So IL plus IF whole square into RA. IL and IF, these values we have got previously in that table we have got. So if you consider these values, that is IL is how much? So we have got the IL, so that IL value is 0.9, 0.55 is the IF, sorry, IL value is here 2 plus 0.55 whole square into RA is 1.3. How we have got this RA means, if you measure the armature terminals resistance, so in between A and AA of the armature terminals, then you are going to get the armature resistance. With the help of multimeter we are going to calculate the armature resistance. So that is 1.3 ohms. So if I substitute those values, you are going to get IA square RA value is, so 2 plus 0.55 whole square into 1.3. So that value is 8.45 watts. So this is armature copper loss for the first value, that is IL, and then you have to calculate the total losses. So you have to calculate the total losses. The formula for total loss is, you are having two different types of losses. First one is constant losses and then variable losses. You have to add these two losses. So total loss, that is PT, which is equal to constant loss or you can consider these constant losses as, I'll say that later. So here variable loss, that is armature copper loss. Variable loss as armature copper loss. So first if I consider constant losses, so constant loss, the constant loss formula is mechanical loss plus iron loss. Mechanical loss plus iron loss is a constant loss, and there is a addition of field copper loss. So here constant losses is nothing but mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss. So we don't know what is actually the mechanical loss plus iron loss, but we know field copper loss. That field copper loss formula is IF square RF. So how we are going to get this RF value? RF value we are going to get if we calculate, if we measure the field resistance between the field terminals of the machine. So as you are having Z and ZZ terminals of this DC machine, if you measure the resistance between Z and ZZ terminals, you are going to get RF. So that RF value is 2.9 ohms. So we have measured that value is 2.9 ohms, and then you don't know what is actually this mechanical loss plus iron loss. So I'll write the formula for that. Mechanical loss plus iron loss, as these losses are constant losses, just I am converting these losses into the variable in the form of variable losses. So I am considering here in the form of variable losses, because we know that armature copper loss and field copper losses. So I am converting this equation into that variable losses. So that is armature input minus armature copper loss plus field copper loss. Okay. So mechanical loss plus iron loss is equal to armature input minus armature copper loss plus field copper loss. So if I substitute these values, we know the armature input, we know the armature copper loss, we know the field copper loss. So if I substitute these values, then you are going to get mechanical loss plus iron loss. So these mechanical loss plus iron loss I'm going to substitute here, and then you can calculate the constant losses. So after that calculating the constant loss, I'm going to add here constant loss plus armature copper loss, you can get total losses. So that total losses are here, you can write. Then you are going to calculate the power input, then we are calculating the efficiency of the machine. So here mechanical loss plus iron loss is equal to V into Ia naught. That is armature input is V into Ia naught minus armature copper loss is Ia square Ra, and plus If square Rf is the field copper loss. Field copper loss is If square Rf. So if I substitute those values, so here 220 volts, voltage is 220 volts, and Ia naught is 0.35, so which we have got from the first table. So 0.35 minus Ia square is nothing but IL plus If whole square into Ra. Ra is, I am just writing Rf as of now, and If square is nothing but, so just take If square Rf, I will substitute those values. So 220 into 0.35 minus IL plus If. IL value is how much? 2 plus 0.55 whole square into Ra is 1.3. As we have measured this armature resistance between the A and AA terminals, and If is 0.55 whole square into RF. RF is 2.9. So if I calculate these values, you are going to get, so 220 into 0.35 minus 2 plus 0.55 whole square into 1.3 plus 0.55 whole square into 2.9. So it is here you are going to get 69.424. 69.424. Then I am substituting this mechanical loss plus iron loss. So just substituting this in that equation, that is constant loss. So constant loss is equal to mechanical loss plus iron loss, mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss. So that gives your constant loss, that is constant loss is equal to mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss. So we have got this mechanical loss plus iron loss is 69.424 plus field copper loss is nothing but IF square RF. So that is 69.424 plus 0.55 whole square into 2.9. So if I calculate constant loss, so which is equal to 69.424 plus 0.55 whole square into 2.9. So that gives 70.301. So it is in watts, right? Then I am calculating total loss, that is P total. So constant loss plus variable loss, that is armature copper loss. Just substitute constant loss, that is 70.301 plus armature copper loss is nothing but Ia square Ra. So Ia square Ra is nothing but 2 plus 0.55. So that is 70 plus 301 plus IL plus IF whole square into Ra. So that is 70.301 plus IL is nothing but 2 plus IF is nothing but 0.55 whole square, 0.55 square into 1.3. So that gives, I will calculate that, 70.301 plus 2 plus 0.55 whole square into 1.3. So that gives 78.754 watts is a total loss. So that is total loss is so 78.754. So I will substitute this value in the tabular column, right? So here we have got total loss is 78.754, 78.754 watts, and I need to calculate the power input. So power input is nothing but power output plus total losses, that is 440 plus 78.754. So if I calculate this 440 plus 78.754, so it gives 518.754. So efficiency formula is the neta is equal to efficiency. So I am writing here efficiency neta. So that is output by input, that is power output by power input into 100. If I calculate, you are going to get percentage efficiency. So power output is how much? 440. 440 by power input is 518.754 into 100. So 440 by 518.754 into 100, if I calculate, you are going to get, so efficiency, that is percentage efficiency, 84.81 percentage. So this is the efficiency of the machine when it is run as a generator. So now I am considering that machine as a motor, and then I am going to calculate all these things, so as a motor. Okay. So here efficiency we have got is 84.81 percentage. So now I am considering this as a motor. I will take the motor readings. So here I am considering it as a motor, and then the load current are same 2, 4, 6, 8, like that you can consider, and the power here I am considering power input here, because we are giving the supply for this. So here you need to consider power input, and here armature copper loss and total loss, and here you have to calculate power output. Okay, power output. So this as a power input is nothing but Pi. Let us consider power input, and the power output here power output. So that power output is nothing but Pi minus total losses you are going to get, Pi minus WT, Pi minus WT watts, that is WT is nothing but total losses, or you can consider PT. Okay, right. So here armature copper loss is nothing but Ia square Ra. So if you consider this as a motor, you are going to get IL minus IF whole square into Ra. IL is nothing but, first I am considering 2 minus 0.55 whole square into 1.3. So just calculate that here, 2 minus 0.55 whole square into 1.3, you are going to get 2.733 watts as a armature copper loss. Then we are going to calculate the total loss. So to calculate the total loss, as we know, that is total loss, let us consider WT or PT, you can consider any one of this, constant loss plus variable loss, that is armature copper loss. So this constant loss is nothing but, so here the constant loss is nothing but mechanical loss plus iron loss, mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss, mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss. So here if I calculate this mechanical loss plus iron loss, so the formula is armature input minus armature copper loss plus armature copper loss plus field copper loss, okay. Mechanical loss plus iron loss is equal to armature input, that is V into Ia naught, minus armature copper loss is Ia square Ra, plus field copper loss is If square Rf, okay. So V into Ia naught minus Ia is nothing but IL minus If whole square into Ra. So here I am considering for the motor it is IL minus If, right, If square Rf. So V is nothing but 220 volts into, it is 0.35 from the first table we know, and then IL minus 2 minus If is nothing but how much, 0.55 whole square into Ra is 1.3 plus If is 0.55 whole square into 2.9. So if I calculate these values, you are going to get 220 into 0.35 minus 2 minus 0.55 whole square into 1.3 plus 0.55 square into 2.9. So it is 75.144 is a mechanical loss plus iron loss, and then so just total or constant loss. Constant losses is nothing but what, mechanical loss plus iron loss plus field copper loss. Okay, so just substitute this mechanical loss plus iron loss is 75.144 plus field copper loss is If square Rf, so that is 75.144 plus If is 0.55 whole square into 2.9. So if you calculate that, 75.144 plus 0.55 square into 2.9, so it is 76.021 watts. It is constant losses. But total loss, that is PT or Wt you can consider, that is constant loss plus armature copper loss, it is variable loss, okay. Constant loss plus variable loss, armature copper loss. So constant loss is 76.021 plus armature copper loss is nothing but Ia square Ra, so that is 76.021 plus Ia is nothing but IL minus If whole square into Ra. So if I substitute that value, 76.021 plus IL means 0.55 whole square into 1.3, 76.021 plus 2 minus 0.55 whole square into 1.3, it is 78.754 watts is a total loss, that is P total or W total, right? Okay. So here we have got the total loss, that is 78.754 watts. 78.754 watts, that is total loss. Now we have to calculate the power output. So power output is nothing but Pi minus Wt, that is power input minus total losses. Power input minus total loss is, power input is 440 watts minus total loss is 78.754. So if I calculate that 440 minus 78.754, you are going to get 246, 361.246, that is power output. So power output is 361.246, and we have to calculate the efficiency. So efficiency, that is percentage neta, percentage efficiency I am calculating. So power output by power input into 100. So power output is how much? 361.246 by power input is 440 watts. Then how much it is? So into 100 we have, so percentage neta 361.246 by 440, it is 82.1 percentage. Okay, 82.1 percentage. So like this you can calculate for different load currents. As I have calculated efficiency for the one value of 2 amps of current, and we can calculate the same procedure for 4, 6, 8. So for these values, how the efficiency is going to be changes, we can see. So that is what predetermination of Swinburne's test. Before applying the load, without loading we are calculating the efficiency, that is predetermination, how much efficiency is going to be have if we apply the load on the machine. So that is what your Swinburne's test on DC shunt motor. So here if you see the model graph for this Swinburne's test, so we are taking on y-axis efficiency, on x-axis I am considering load current. So if I consider load current and efficiency, in between that if I draw the graph, you are going to get this increasing values of efficiency. So as this efficiency of the motor is, the motor efficiency values are less than the generator efficiency values. So as I have performed the test for the 2 amps of load, and we have calculated the efficiency for the 2 amps of load for the generator as well as for the motor. So we have got for the generator is 84.81 and for the motor is 82.1. That means the motor efficiency is less than the generator efficiency. So your graph is also same. Motor efficiency is less than the generator efficiency values. So this is what your model graph. So with this model graph your experiment is completed. You have to draw the model graph and you have to perform the calculation. By performing calculation you have to draw the model graph. So thank you for listening this lab.